A very good day to Dr. Siti Afika. My name is Poojaa, daughter of Subramaniam, with the matrix number of 820B2331. Today, I would like to present the task given, which is the case of Haji Ibrahim Food Manufacturing Industry.
Whether we talk about business or industry, costing system is required everywhere to fix the price of products, to ascertain the cost associated with the product and so on. However, a single costing system is not capable enough to fulfill requirements of various industry. Hence, different costing system or methods are actually designed so that business can use those methods as per the nature of products, operations and other parameters. Thus, I would like to begin my presentation with the definition or the meaning of job costing and how does it differ from batch costing. Job costing is actually described as a costing method where customized production of goods or services are rendered. The method of costing is used when jobs are performed for different customers as per their orders, or also known as single orders. Under this method, each cost unit is treated as a separate entity for costing purpose, and each job differs from another job in respect of material use, labor required, special customer needs and other requirements. Not only that, product under this costing method have also an independent identity, as each job is distinct or differ from other jobs. In this method, on the receipt of an inquiry from client, the cost to be incurred is ascertained and based on the estimate or price quoted. The cost of material, labor and overhead incurred during the job is accumulated, and when the job is accomplished, they are compared with the quoted price so as to determine the profit or loss of the job. It may extend to multiple accounting periods, and so they are not associated with particular periods. There are actually many advantages or importance of using job costing, and I would like to explain two importance of using job costing. The first one is to determine the profitability of the job. It actually helps the company to make estimation about the value of materials, labors and overhead that will be spent while doing that particular job. Efficient job costing helps companies to create quotes that are low enough to be competitive but still profitable for the company. And the second importance is to make data-driven decisions. Over time, a job costing method becomes a valuable database holding the details and cost of doing jobs. The important that is taught can be used as empirical data to help the company evaluate its own efficiency to reduce the cost by changing its procedures, methods and staffing. Moving on to batch costing. Batch costing may actually be understood or meant as a variant of job costing, and in this method, a group of identical units comprising of a batch is used as a cost unit to estimate costs. And to ascertain the cost per unit, the total cost of a batch is divided by the number of units produced in a batch. And for each batch, a cost sheet is prepared and maintained by allotting a batch number. This costing method is actually employed or usually used by firms or companies who manufacture or produce a large number of similar items or components as they go through the same process, and so it is beneficial to ascertain their cost of production collectively. Thus, what we can conclude here is that how job costing differ from batch costing is that job costing is a cost of unit that consists of a single order or contract. Meanwhile, batch costing is a cost unit that consists of a separate identifiable group of units. I would like to continue with question number 2. In the case of Haji Ibrahim Food Manufacturing Industry, they are actually using the batch costing method. The term batch refers to the lot in which the bulk amount or mass amount of products are to be manufactured or produced. Whenever a particular product is required, one unit of such product are not produced, but instead a lot, for example 500 to 1000 units of such product are produced. In the case of Haji Ibrahim food manufacturing industry, they are actually producing a mass or bulk amount of 1,500 bottles of pineapple sauces. Thus, the production is carried on in batches and each batch consists of a specific number of similar products. Each batch are also given a separate number and the output of a batch is identified by the number of the batch recorded on each unit of output of the batch. The batch of 1,500 bottles of pineapple sauce in Haji Ibrahim food manufacturing industry are numbered as batch 25. In a batch, the units of identical product may be in thousands, but each batch is regarded as an independent unit and its total is equally divided by the number of units produced in the batch in order to decide the cost of production of a single unit of the product. Thus, what we can conclude here is that the accounting work is reduced under batch costing in the case of Haji Ibrahim food manufacturing industry, as the costing method, which is batch costing, used by them are done in respect of a batch of product of alike jobs. In regard of question number 3, which is the calculation of cost per unit, there are actually 3 steps to be done, in which the first one is to calculate the overhead absorption rate for the production departments. There are actually 2 production departments in the case of Haji Ibrahim food manufacturing industry, and the first one is cutting department, meanwhile the second one is preserving department. And to calculate the overhead absorption rate for the production departments, the budgeted overhead should be divided with the budgeted activity. And in the case of cutting department, RM 24,000 will be divided with 4,000 labor hours, and we will be getting RM 6 per labor hour. Meanwhile, for the preserving department, the budgeted overhead of RM 40,000 will be divided with budgeted activity of 3,000 labor hours, in which we will be getting RM 13 ringgit 33 cent per labor hour. Moving on to step 2 in the process of calculation of cost per unit is the calculation of total cost of batch 25. There are actually few elements in the calculation of total cost, in which the first one is direct material, and as it is already provided in the question, the direct material are amounted RM 48,000. The direct expense are amounted RM 2,000 as it was paid for the hire of cutting equipment. The direct labor for cutting department, which is 300 hours, we will times with RM 7 ringgit per hour, we will be getting RM 2,000 ringgit and 100. Meanwhile, for preserving department, 500 hours, we will times with RM 15 ringgit per hour, we will be getting RM 7,500. And when we add these two both figures of RM 2,100 and RM 7,500, we will get the total direct labor of RM 9,600. Thus, the direct material of 48,000, we will add it with the direct expense of RM 2,000, and again we will add it with total direct labor of RM 9,600. We will be getting the prime cost of RM 59,600. For the calculation of overhead, which is for the cutting department, 300 hours we will times with RM 6. Where did we get this RM 6 is the calculation in step 1, which is the calculation of absorption of overhead rate. Thus, when we times 300 hours with RM 6, we will be getting RM 1,000 ringgit and 800. Meanwhile, for preserving department, 500 hours times with RM 13 ringgit 33 cent as per step 1, we will be getting RM 6,000 ringgit 665. When we add these two both departments overhead, we will be getting RM 8,465. The prime cost of 59,600 ringgit, we will add it with the total overhead of RM 8,465. We will be getting the factory cost of RM 68,065. For the selling and administrative costs, in which in the question it stated 30% of factory cost, which means 30% we will times it with the factory cost of 68,065, we will be getting RM 20,419 and 50 cent. Thus, the total costs are calculated when the factory cost of 68,065 ringgit added with the selling and administrative cost of 20,419 ringgit and 50 cent, we will be getting RM 88,484 and 50 cent. Finally, for the calculation of step 3, which is cost per unit, the total cost we will be dividing with the total production unit, which means the total cost of RM 88,484 ringgit and 50 cent, we will divide it with the total production unit of 1,500 pineapple bottles, in which we will get the cost per unit of RM 58 ringgit and 99 cent.
With the end of the calculation process, I would like to end my presentation for today. That is all from me. Thank you very much.